Okado, and I'm an intraday trader. I began trading 20 months ago, but more actively maybe less, maybe 1 or 2 months less than that. And but for me it was a journey, and I'm sure for some of you who are have just gotten started trading, it must be a journey, trying to learn, trying to figure out which educators to follow in the IM Academy. And I hope you guys are really, plugging into the academy, because I think it's amazing. I mean, every day I go there and I just learn so much from the educators. So I began as a scalper initially, and then because of my personality, I'm a very aggressive trader generally, and some people who have traded with me can bear witness. I take big risks. So sometimes scalping is good, but maybe not so much. And I realized that for me to change my trading in terms of just to maybe learn how to maybe do longer term trades. Because also when I was coming in from a point whereby I wanted to make money quickly. So when you're scalping and you want to make money quickly, it's not a very good combination. So I transitioned into intraday trading. So I still scalp, okay? I'm still very good at scalping. When I want quick money, I scalp. But my goal really at the end of the day is actually to become a swing trader long term, like long term. Right now I'm intraday. So swing trading, meaning that I can enter a trade today and I can check on it maybe at the end of the week or next week, without a problem. But I'm not yet there as a trader. So I will get there soon. So today we are talking about how I intraday, okay? So if you have any questions, again, please put them in the chat box, just type them out, and then I'll try and cover them as we're going along. So maybe you can I'll also make a note and say, okay, fine, you guys may need to take notes. So feel free to take notes as well. I'm going to open a new chat. Actually, I'll just hide everything. I'm trying to see what trade to analyze, what pair to analyze, so that I can teach practically. Let's look at Euro USD. What pair does anyone out there have an idea of what they want me to look at? Like a pair we can look at together, and then I'll show you how I do my analysis from scratch. Anybody? Feel free to type in the chat box. Okay, let's look at GBP JPY. Thank God you said GBP JPY and not US 30. So GBP JPY. So we'll analyze this one trade. Okay, I really analyze this pair. But it's okay. I will clear the screen. I can always analyze it later. Okay, so what I do basically as a trader, I make my entries on 2 time frames: the day chart, that's one, and the 30-minute chart. Different traders, intraday traders, do different things. Others are on the 4-hour, others are on the 1 minute, others are on the 15-minute entry. But for me, I now do just day and 30. I used to do day and 15, and then I just changed and I moved on from the 15 minutes. Someone might ask, why do we look at the longer time frames? Because the longer time frames give you a good idea or indication of the trend overall on a longer time. And obviously, if it's a shorter time frame, it just gives you the short trend. So sometimes short trends short time frames rather, have quick movements, have a lot of volatility. Let me say that, have a lot of volatility, up and down movements, and things like that. And sometimes you can get confused about what's really happening in the market. So like I said, because of my personality, I'm an aggressive trader, so I can really enter in and out of the market. But when you look at the longer time frames, it's a bit calmer, and now you get an overall view of the market. And so I look at the day chart. when I'm not able to see what I need to see in the day chart, I will usually then look at the weekly chart. Okay, so the first thing I usually do when I'm looking at a pair, I just come very quickly and I draw my trend. I'm going to assume that all of us on this call, and I'm not going to repeat what is already being taught in the academy in terms of the basics and what is usually, I guess, covered in the beginners classes. I'll just assume, and not in a bad way, just in the interest of time, I'll assume most of us have done the basics videos and we know what a trend is, and we know what support and resistance are. So I'm a market structure price action trader. So I just focus more on the trend of the pair or of the market and the highs and the lows. So again, if you understand, highs is resistance, lows is support. Lows is support. Sorry, I easily get very distracted, so I'm just going to, if I pause, don't mind. So okay, I can see, let me see. I'm trying to remove the writings on the here. Okay. So yeah, so support and resistance, highs and lows, and then basically the trend of the market. So for example, I'm on the day chart, step 1. So I'll come and look at the trend in the market, what I can see. So if you know how to draw trend, you draw from where you can see like the low to the high. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out again how to explain that. But basically, I'm looking at the trend on the support level, okay? So this is a trend line, okay? And you pick it from your trading view. The tool is here. On the left here, this is where the toolbars are. I'm sure at least you guys have used trading view. So I pick the trend line, and then I pick the next trend line to look at the high. So this is the high. The high, and just making sure that at least 2 points, yeah, 2 points on the candlestick chart or whatever chart you're looking at. So this point here and then this point. It doesn't really matter, guys. You can do as long as you can see the trend, okay? So as you can see, it's here at the bottom as well, and then I've just found maybe another second point where the line is touching, and I focus on the wicks, okay? Sometimes people ask me, how do you know? I just focus on the wicks. Then I look at the point of confluence of where these lines meet. So I'll just, which is here, okay? They meet here. So I'll just draw a line there in the middle to just give me an idea of where the lines meet. Okay, so this is a point of confluence. This is a trend up. This is the trend down, okay? And this is the day chart. Now, the next thing I look at is the highs and the lows. And I pick maybe 1 or 2 highs above and below the line of confluence, or the line that cuts in between that represents, you know, the point where these two trends meet. So I'll come here. I'll just change the colors to make it less. So my first one I can see is here. And again, it's random. It doesn't have to be, it's what you see, because we all see things differently. Don't get too hung up on which point to choose. You don't have to. So just maybe 1 or 2. So from the point of confluence, look for another one there, and then above as well. So I've kind of found those ones. So what I do is I trap price. I call it trapping price because I want to have a better visual representation of what I'm seeing. Again, like I said, sometimes I get distracted. So these lines help me focus on what I want to see. Then once I do that, sorry, I got disconnected for 2 seconds. My internet cable just came out. Okay, so yeah, so this is where we're at now. So let me ask a question, right? Anyone can answer this question. What does the trend look like right now? Anybody on the call can answer. Are we on an uptrend? Are we on a downtrend? What is the trend on GBP, JPY as you can see it right now? Anybody? Anybody? There's no wrong or right answer. Whatever your answer is likely correct. Let's see what your answers are. Uptrend. Mudel is like uptrend, 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 uptrend. Okay. Can anybody tell me why they think it's on an uptrend? Yes. Hi, Jeremiah. Are you talking or?
Uptrend, uptrend.
Oh, okay. Any reason why you're saying it's an uptrend? Guys, can you hear me? Okay, I can't hear. Maybe there's something wrong with which time?
We can hear you, Lily. We can hear you.
Why are we saying we are on an uptrend? I'm asking this question so that I make sure that everybody on this call, whether they are new or not, kind of understand what we're talking about. For me, it's flattening. Flattening. Kamukama Innocent, I'm not sure I understand that. What time frame is the chart? The chart is on the day chart. It's on the daily. Guys, by the way, these are basic questions.
Lilo?
Like, yes.
Hello? Can't you repeat the question? My Wi-Fi was having some issues, so even I did not get the question, please.
Okay, no problem, Juliet. Thank you for that. I'm asking, everyone has said, the majority of people have said we are on an uptrend. So I'm asking, why do we think we're on an uptrend? Why do you say you're on an uptrend? I'm just trying to establish that everyone understands why. Hey, there are people who have been trading here for a long time. Miss Shiro. This class is going to be interactive by force. Yeah? Guys, indulge me, man. The value,
I think
the
can
value,
I attempt?
yes, please, Kendago. Asante.
Can I attempt?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I think it's been touching the lower trend more often, and it's keeping on going higher.
Okay.
Lilo,
yeah.
can I try my?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Okay. To me, if I was the one analyzing, I have to wait for the third retest to confirm whether it's for confirmation. For now, it has already touched 2 times, so I have to wait for that time to be sure it's an uptrend.
Okay. So now you're like 50-50.
Yes, I'm not yet fully satisfied with it.
Okay. Sawa. I think both of you are correct. Like in terms of it could be an uptrend, it could be a downtrend. And not necessarily because of how many times it touches the line, but let's look at it practically, yeah? The date for this is on the 12th of December, 2019. Price was up here for GJ at 148.020, yes. And then it started coming down. It consolidated for a while. It retested, okay? The trend line, this is the downtrend and this is the uptrend, okay? So it retested the downtrend line, which is also a support, a resistance and a support, or a ceiling and a floor. Okay, so every time price comes, it comes down like this, it ranges or it does whatever it's doing. It may try to retest the previous high, but it got to this resistance and it dropped. And it dropped and dropped, then it came to this line of confluence and it continued to drop all the way to the bottom to the support, okay? This was in 18th March 2020. Now, since then, it has never retested this low for GJ, and it's just been going up. So it went up, tried to break this point, came down again. So now it's like we have been moving upwards, right? However, we can also still say we're on a downtrend. Why? Because this is a high, there was a lower high, another lower high, and yet another lower high, which if you understand means that the trend has actually been going down in as much as it's been trying to also go up. So both, as I said, both answers are actually correct, yeah? But if I look at it from a bigger perspective, yeah, what do you see now? Do you see an uptrend or a downtrend? Anybody? Yes,
I can see
Kama?
it's a sideways market, I think.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you're correct. It's actually been ranging. It's been moving up, down within a specific parameters. But generally, it's also really been on a downtrend since 2015. Now, these are important things to note because they inform your decision in terms of how far price is able to move at a particular time. Okay, so yes, there's consolidation. Mudel, thank you for that. So I hope you see that. So there's, yes, a downtrend. It hasn't scaled this high in a couple of years. And the highest it has ever been in the nearer term was in January 2018, and it has never gone beyond that. So those are things just important to note, and you'll understand why. So let's just zoom back out. So in this case, because I can kind of see a clear trend, I don't need to go to the bigger time frame of the weekly chart. But even if we were to go on the weekly, you can still see the same thing that I was trying to see. Yeah, that we have actually been on a downtrend, but now GJ is trying to go back up. So back on the daily chart. So I've drawn my lines of my trend lines and my line of confluence. Now, anyone can see where the current price is, right? You can see where the current price is. What I usually say is, this is how price moves, yeah? Price will move down, okay? It will retest, drop, rally, base, then rally meaning it's moving up, then it will drop again. Usually that's how price moves, generally, over a period of time. So sometimes it will just drop, like now you can see February 20th, between February 20th and 18th March, price literally just dropped in a month, which is something that doesn't just happen, yeah? Usually it will keep on, my apologies, my internet cable keeps on coming out. Yes, so then these points that you're seeing, these lines, the trend lines and the highs and the lows, please look at them also as magnets. Okay, that's how I like to look at it. Like they keep on attracting price to those points. So that's what these lines are also about. The highs and the lows. You'll notice that price will tend to try and repeat a pattern. Trading is basically about patterns. When you observe how the market works or moves generally, you'll realize that it keeps on repeating certain sequences, certain patterns. So here's a point though. When price dropped here and hit the support line, okay, it bounced off. So it could have either broken, but it didn't, so it bounced off. And then you'll find it will try and scale this line again, and it kind of bounced off that high, came down, bounced off again, went up, broke this bit, went up here, bounced off. So bouncing off basically meaning that, it was attracted to this price, but then it rejected. So those are also other terminologies. So right now what I'm seeing is price has bounced off here, and it keeps respecting the trend up. Okay, so yes, we can say GJ has been trending up. Now, these lines allow me to, like I said, trap price. So I can begin to see how much further can GJ go. Okay, so we are here, right? So from this point in time, it has calmed down. It bounced off this support line, retested, came back again, tried to break the support, but this support seems to be very strong. Bounced off, went up, okay, tried to again hit the resistance here, okay. It didn't manage to, okay, there was a rejection. It came back down, it then rallied, then straight into the line of confluence, came down, but this time didn't hit the support, okay. And now it's literally currently moving up. So we can say, I can safely assume that it's going to do two things. It's either going to get to this line of confluence and bounce off it, retest, and come back down. Or, so let me just do this practically for those who may not. So it will come up, then come back down. Yeah, and when it comes back down, it could break, okay, and make and head for the previous low, okay, or it could just come here and break and make it to the next, to the it's called what, to the next high, or the trend line, the resistance. When it gets here, again, two other things can happen. It can bounce off, come back down here, okay, or it can break. Now, the way, I don't know if you guys have seen the way price moves up, then it moves down, usually when it's rallying, usually, not all the time, then it continues up. So this is a rally, a retest, continuation. Rally or impulse, retest, continuation. Rally, pullback, continuation. If it's on the other direction, okay, it will do the same thing. So it will go down, yeah. It will retest where it has come from, and then it will continue. That's usually how typically price moves. Sometimes when there's news, it will just move down. Pop, you'll just see that it's moved, like in these cases, it just moved down, and these were consecutive candles down. But normally, or normal trading, periods where there's no much volatility or news, it just moves up, come down like that. Now that's one option, right? And there are various variations of how price moves, but I think that is key for you guys to just understand what I look for, okay, when I'm trading. Okay, so in this case, for me, my assumption is price will come here. Now, what I do as an intraday trader, and as you notice, for me, I focus on the day chart. I've not even gone on the lower time frame. I simply now start measuring. As an intraday trader, I'm looking for, let's say, anything above 60 to, let's say, whatever amount of pips. Let's say 100 pips. GJ, and of course, I assume, make these assumptions based on the different pairs. Pairs like GJ will move 100, sometimes to 200 pips in a day, okay? Pairs like Euro USD might move 60 pips, maybe 80 pips. Other pairs like Euro NZD is also volatile depending on when you get. So I've kind of had, when you trade these pairs, you'll have an idea of how they move, okay? How many pips they move in a day. So those are the pairs I usually look at. A pair like AUD pairs, it depends. They're not always very volatile during the day. They can take maybe 1 or 2 days to maybe scale the same pips as, let's say, GJ or GBP pairs or gold and so on and so forth. So like for now, for me to now plan my entry, I'll look at this pen and be like, okay, GJ is here at 136.003. It's about to get to the line of confluence or whatever you want to call it. It wants to come back here. So this is 35 pips. So for me, this is not a trade I want to take. Yeah. Some of you are scalpers, you might want to take it. Yeah. So I wouldn't necessarily take this trade personally. So because I'm looking for moves. Something else I also need to point out is I also love to trade breakouts. Okay, a breakout. So let me give you an example. A breakout is when price breaks structure. Okay, so let me just draw this so you understand what I'm saying. Now, if you notice something, price has kind of been consolidating here. Okay, so it tried to break past this, okay, and really just go, but it didn't make it, and it came back down to this zone. So you can also look at it as trading from zone to zone. I like to trade from zone to zone. So I may not necessarily trade during consolidation, these areas. I'll prefer to trade a breakout. A breakout means it's above the consolidation area. So for me, I'll probably not enter now. I'll wait until price breaks from here. And then if I count my pips here, that's about 316 pips. I know this will not be covered in a day. So I'll just figure out maybe 100, 150 pips. And these are things you do. If you measure the candles, you'll be able to calculate how much GJ moves in a day, okay? So this is a breakout. So I'll probably enter above this support resistance line and probably wait and enter below here for a breakout. I find breakouts better when you're an intraday trader. You wait for the trade to come to you. As a scalper, you can scalp in between. It's fine, okay? You can scalp in between. But if you're taking longer moves, you don't want to be caught up in consolidation, okay? Because then that means you'll be in the trade for a couple of days if your entry was not okay. I hope I'm making some sense, guys. Am I making some sense? If I'm making some sense, there's some clarity, just type in 111 in the chat box. If I'm making sense, type in 111. Perfect. We are like 37. Perfect. Okay. So I hope you're noting those points down. Okay. So I trade breakouts because then I get my 100 pips or my 80 plus pips and I'm good to go and I'm out of the market, because a breakout, unlike a consolidation, is several consecutive candles, okay, going in a certain direction. But consolidation could be a candle going down, another candle going up. One candle could be 2 pips, another one is 10 pips. You know, I don't like being there unless my timing or my entry is at the right time. Like for example, typical example, this is the support line, right, for GJ right now. Now, if you look here, price came down, okay? And then on this support, it kind of coincided with this support. This support and resistance line coincided with the support trend line, okay? Now, what I would do, I would wait. So let's say it comes here. I would wait and say, okay, is this going to break or is it going to retest? So as you can see here, it retested and then it came back down, okay? And then I'll just wait again and see, is it going to break again? So as an intraday trader, guys, you're not entering the way scalpers enter. You wait for the trade to come to you. It can take you a day, it can take you an hour, 2 hours. That's why we say patience is about, trading is about patience. So I'll just wait. Now, obviously these days I may not necessarily wait as much as I used to before, because now I kind of understand structure and, you know, the zones and trading from zone to zone. So if at all, in this case here, this would be a good entry for me, okay? And I'll probably get in here because it's just at this support and the trend line. So I would enter here, I would measure. Usually I measure first before. I'm like, is this a good trade to take? This is already 198 pips. Not bad for GJ. If I get 50 pips, I think I'm okay. Okay. And why am I confident about the 50? Because it came, it retested, came back again, was unable to break the support, and immediately bounced off. So as soon as this candle closed, I enter for a buy for 50 to 100 pips. And then I trail until 100 pips using stop loss. If it hits my stop loss, it's okay. I am still in profit. So GJ right now, let me remove this. You can draw that zone if you want. I usually don't nowadays, but you can. So this here, it's still taking time. I thought by the time I'm talking, maybe it'll have moved a bit, but it seems the market is now slow. There's no volatility. People are probably out of the market. So again, wait and see. I would not enter this trade now. I would wait until tomorrow or London session and see, okay, what happened overnight and things like that. Now, if you want to perfect your entries, this is the next point. I think maybe I'll finish here. If you want to perfect your entries so that you're not just entering a trade because now you've seen something, you can draw more trend lines, more support and resistance rather lines. Usually what I find is price is usually attracted to the previous high. So for me, this makes a lot of sense. I'd probably put my entry here, but remember we're on the day chart, so I'll probably go to a lower time frame. I'd probably enter around here. Okay, I'd put my entry around here, where the next previous high is. And for me, the high here, I would put it on the bodies of the candle and not necessarily the wicks of the candle. So my entry would be here. You can even put a buy stop if you want, or you can do a market execution. In that. But now this would also still be a precarious area to enter. Why? Because of this resistance line, meaning that price, if I entered here, it could reach here and bounce. So again, I'll wait. So for now, GJ is not necessarily a good entry. And as well, even if, let's say I woke up tomorrow and I found it here, I would still wait. I would wait to see, is it going to go up like this, bounce down, or will it break? Once it breaks, I trade the breakout. So I would enter here for a couple of pips until the next high. And I think that's one way to perfect your entry. The second way, and I think is the final way, go to the lower time frame, usually the 30-minute chart. And then just look at where price is. Price is up here, right? So I'd try and look at, let me make this easier for you guys. So I'll look for my highs and lows, okay, on the different time frame, based off where price is, So price is there. If I look for another high above the line of confluence, possibly there, right? If I measure my pips just to find out how many pips are these, are they more than 10? Okay, they're 38. If you want to scalp, you can scalp, yeah. So the thing about, if you narrow down, okay, zoom out, or is it zoom in? Again, you can see like the price is telling you a story. This is, you know, price action. When you say price action, this is how price is acting. This is the structure of the market right now. It's on an uptrend. Currently, it's consolidating in this zone, yeah. And again, I wouldn't enter this zone at all. As an intraday trader, I wouldn't. As a scalper, maybe you can. Intraday, I would wait because it's in the zone. So I trade the breakout. So I would only enter this trade above this zone once I see it has cleared the zone. Okay. And the way I've done the zone, I've based it off the highs, like it bounced here, came here, bounced again, you know. And it doesn't matter. You can even say you want to do it a bigger zone. I know someone will come and ask me, so how do you know? But it's much more clearer here because there are multiple retests. Okay. So this trade has already happened. It is invalid for me. I don't want to get caught up in this middle bit here because you can stay here getting caught up as price is making up its mind for hours. And sometimes you find that when we take so long in the market, sometimes maybe my entries were not as perfect or as great. And as you can tell, I you know, it's important to just, you know, keep on improving your entries. So this is not a trade I would take. But so then a nice trade, maybe if it comes back down, you can simply enter here and assume that it will go into the next low. And the thing is, guys, price always behaves a certain way. If you don't complicate it, you can see this is another zone here, very important zone. So you can safely assume if price breaks beyond a certain point, beyond the previous low over here, then you can take a sell stop or a market execution all the way down here. So that's how now I look at my entries. And then I also sometimes use the position tool, and maybe this is a bit advanced, we can do it on the next session, to just try and look at what's my risk to reward. So let's say this is my previous low from where price is here, because price has come here. Let's assume it comes down here and starts breaking. I won't just enter the trade immediately because there's a previous low here, right? Remember how price behaves? It breaks, it retests, then it continuation. So I would probably wait for maybe 1 or 2 retests if I'm being a very careful trader. If I'm more used to this, you kind of have an idea of how price would move if you traded GJ. So you probably just come in the retest, you can actually enter, or you won't enter up here, you'll enter down here. So that way you minimize your drawdown. Okay, so when I say drawdown, I mean, sorry, this is the wrong tool because I'm taking. So the previous is there. So I would enter where? Here. Usually you want to enter 1:2, 1:1, you know, if you take, but the best is somewhere around here. So you will wait for price to come down. Okay, wait. Yeah, you wait for price to come down, to retest, and this is a safe place to enter. So again, that's why we are waiting. Then once you enter here, you just ride it down. And then you can put your TP on previous lows. Previous, yeah, like up here, this could be your first TP, second TP, and then third TP would be now you look at where, how far would it go? But because this is GJ, how many pips are these? These are about 70 pips. And the fact that it's almost at its support, that would probably be as far as it goes, maybe 90 pips, 100 pips. So that's why sometimes I say intraday potential. Doesn't mean that it will get there, but there's a potential it would get there. But as long as you're already in profit, you just put your SL in profit and you're good to go. So I think I'll finish there and I'll open the floor for questions. I am sure there's maybe 1 or 2 questions. Anyone with a question? If this is making sense, please type 222. If I've lost you, type 111. That's also a possibility. Okay, so 222, yes, awesome, 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 awesome. Yay, okay. You guys are now intraday traders. Class is over. This was like the easiest class to teach.
I have a question.
Yes.
This measuring tool, you know, that one that you've used there to measure is it the ratio, or does it tell you the stop loss?
Yeah, it gives you a stop loss. It gives you your risk to reward. What are you willing to risk to get what you want to get?
How can you tell the risk to reward from what is written on that you have right there?
It tells you here 4.71. Okay, let me not confuse you here. It even gives you the amount, but this is based off my own calculations on the lot size. You're risking $97. You're risking 15 pips stop loss. Yeah, 15.8 to get 74.4. Don't look at the amounts because this is based on other calculations. But here, 15 pips, okay, is your stop loss. You can increase it to 30 pips if you want, and you can see the risk to reward changes. Yeah.
So your risk to reward ratio is currently 5 to 17. 4 to 4.
4.04.
So 4 to 4, which means it's almost.
Keep it simple. Leave this alone. Just know that this calculates for you the pips. So your stop loss is 18.4 from entry price, and your take profit is 74 pips from entry price.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Now this is based off the analysis I have just done. So you're not just going to use the risk to reward tool and say, okay, I'm going to enter here and this is where my risk is. No, you have to analyze, because I've just shown you how I decided my entry to be here. I can even decide to keep my entry lower if I'm trying to be risk averse, and I actually enter down here on the previous low. So there's a first previous low, then there's this one to be maybe safe. And then now I put my take profit here just before it broke this support line.
So that stop loss is not too short. It's not the
really?
kind that's the stop loss. It's not the kind that just gets whisked 5 minutes into the trade and then it turns back.
It can. I mean, there are no guarantees in trading, but this is just a safe way to plan your risk, meaning that you've done your analysis as best as you can, and you're like, you know what, the price has already retested. Even if it retests here, I will not enter until maybe here, because once I've entered here, price has already changed the trend. That's basically what we are saying, that the trend has changed. When you're trading on longer time frames, the trend is your friend. And that's why I don't trade consolidation, because sometimes when you're trading consolidation, you're trading against the trend. So you'll be caught out. But as a scalper, you can trade against the trend. Does that make sense?
Totally. Thank you very much. So
Okay.
you're basing your stop loss on the last support of the zone that you're now leaving.
Yes.
Okay.
I could reduce it. I could make it more if I feel there could be a pullback. But I think this is a good entry. If you're looking at 30 pips, it's fine. 27.6 pips. Yeah.
Much.
If you want longer than that, you can, and you're a swing trader, you can put maybe a bit longer. Swing trading, though, the entries will be on a higher time frame. This is on the 30-minute time frame. So swing trading usually 4-hour time frame. Weekly, daily, 4-hour. Sometimes 1 hour, but usually longer time frames. Any questions?
Yes, I have a question, Lilo.
Okay, who's talking?
Fierrrce.
Hi, Fierrrce. Ah, okay. Hi, Fierrrce.
I'm disappointed you do not know my voice, but I shall take this side.
You
But
have
anyway.
not been on Zoom in a very long time, Mama.
Anyway,
Emma,
now,
yeah.
when you plot the trend lines,
Yes.
using the day chart. So today is Tuesday. Now, Wednesday, trend lines are. Do you disregard them? Do you start again?
It's up to you. You can disregard. You can start again. You can add. It's really up to you. Like, there's no rules. For me, I used to draw many lines. These days, I don't have to as much. And then sometimes I'm just like, okay, let me just leave the line, because then it will tell me where price was at some point. So it's okay. But when it gets too cluttered, I clear the chart and then I just do it again. Because sometimes you can draw lines, and your chart is just full of lines. And for some people, it can be distracting. So you can keep your chart clean. But the fundamentals are the same. You just draw your lines of confluence, trend lines up, down, your support and resistance. And then now you just base your entries based off the support and resistance and the trend lines.
So now, like, if I plot a chart today, tomorrow I can.
You can use it, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, you can use it. Like, I don't necessarily change I just move points. Like, if this breaks up here, then the trend has changed. It's no longer on a downtrend, it's now moving up. If this price goes above here, like breaks this for sure, the trend is changing, or it's attempting to change. Once it breaks here, for sure, it has changed. It's now on an uptrend. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So that's the end of my class. If there are no other questions.
Not yet. Not yet. You've forgotten me.
Oh, there's somebody who has asked a question. Pole sana, pole. Who is that? Juliet.
Yeah,
Go
it's
ahead,
me, Lilo.
Juliet.
Okay, there's a secret I saw from one of the educators. You were saying that when you see these, most of us usually enter the second retest at the support or resistant point. So you were saying if you get into trade at that time, most of the traders have entered at that time. So with time, the market will be either overbought or oversold. So he was recommending you can wait until the price breaks that resistance or support. Then from there you can enter from the previous support or resistance. From there you won't be able to lose money. That point will be very important.
Yes, that is
that true?
That is true. I think it also, at the end of the day, once you do this enough times, you kind of have, I call it a gut feeling. Like, I've seen my charts so much and I do the same thing every single day that sometimes you can tell, okay, this is going to happen. But yes, if you want to really, really perfect the entry, a couple of retests. Once it breaks, like after the third retest, then you know for sure that one is now, the trend is changing. So that's the best way I can answer that question. But
you're
right.
It and it's working. Yeah, it's working on my side.
Yeah. And like now this is still going up, so scalpers would be in the market right now, trying to, and they would then use other strategies like other things like indicators to give you an idea of, like the moving averages and stuff like that to let you know, okay, for sure, is the trend up, is it down? But when you're trading longer time frames, you don't really need indicators. That has been my experience. I find when I trade a shorter time frame, I definitely need to know, okay, price is changing now, let's enter buy. Price is changing now. But when it's a longer time frame, I don't need it. Cause I just don't. So yes, you can wait for it to retest again, break, maybe even lower your entry to just be sure, and then catch your pips.
Thank you so much, Lilo.
Welcome, Juliet. Awesome. You guys are very good students. You don't have questions for me? Those were 2 questions. Any other going once? It's 8:30, bang on time, so we are good on the hour. Any questions, any clarifications? If not, we can call it an evening. Perfect. Okay, Asanteni, thank you, Mudeo, for that. Thank you, Joanne.
Thank you.
Can you check on gold?
Thank you, Lilo.
I will check on gold very quickly in the next, let's look at gold quickly before we wrap up. Gold. Let me clear this chart. Gold has been on an uptrend, but it's looking like it wants to finish its uptrend and start moving down. I'm actually in a trade on gold. So, day chart, step 1. Now that I've removed my lines, even me, I'm confused. So trend line, step 2. Right? Look for at least 2 points, at least 2. If there are 3, the better. But 2 is sufficient. Try and keep your lines touching the points of the candles. In this case, the trend here is not really clear because gold has just impulsed up in one direction since 17th of July. So it's been a bit tricky to know when it's going to where it's going. However, you go on the bigger time frame. If you can't see the weekly, go on the monthly. To see where was gold at some point in time, 2007. So I can safely draw a line here and say, okay, it's broken the high of the high, which has not been seen before since they started creating charts for trading, because I know that before this, maybe there were no charts. So let's go back on the daily. Now, something else you guys need to know. Yes, I trade technicals and the charts, but I also read the news a lot. I'm also very fundamentally skewed. So where I don't have an idea of where price is going, like I already analyzed this trade, I think I'd already told people it would get to about, it would pass 1835, 1900, but the news also tells you what analysts are saying. And then you also look at the USD pair and stuff like that. So for now, for gold, I think it got to its high here. How many pips did it do today? I think it did like what? Gold. Gold did about, is it 753 pips? Is this accurate really? I don't think so. It's not possible. Okay, let's just subtract, then we'll know for sure. Sometimes these pips on TradingView, the pip calculator on different pairs is so different. So it's at 980, it was at 915. Yeah, actually 753 pips, 700 pips. Wow. Today alone. So if you caught it, you made some good money. So right now I feel like it's exhausted. Yeah. Even if I was to go on the lower time frame, I would be like, okay, this price has been rallying for a while, as you can see on the 30-minute chart. It has gone above this, then it went up to 1980. This was yesterday, last night. And then, is this last night or this morning? Actually, this morning at 4 a.m., it hit 1980. and then, or 81, and then it rejected. So this rejection here kind of shows me that there could be some exhaustion in the market. So this is how I would analyze it. There could be some exhaustion, and and then of course here now candlesticks also help. So I'm seeing like there's, you know, this candle, an impulse candle going down, like it's just rejecting. So let's say I would come try and look for the support and resistance as well. I think that's about it. Maybe now that we're here, I'm looking at this area as a point of interest. Okay. Now, how I would analyze this on a short-term basis, because my assumption is if gold crosses this line, it will try this resistance, it will try and retest the previous high. Okay, that's a safe assumption to make. Or it will come here, bounce off, come here, continue ranging, and then I would wait for it to break. So I would not necessarily get into a trade right now. It's also in the evening. You can see there's little or no volume in the market right now. So this will move pretty slowly to whatever direction. But now let's say it's during the day, I would probably, and I really wanted to trade gold. Like, we don't always have to trade, by the way. If we don't see something, we can leave it alone. So I'm just trying to see where price is now. And I've just drawn this zone here because it's an important area. Price came here, bounced off. Came again, came again, came again, finally broke off, but was attracted again to the same place. Then it came here, tried to break, came back down, dropped, rejected. The candles just show you the story. Rejected, so there's a rejection here, meaning that maybe it's not yet ready to go lower than this. And then went up, then broke again, then has come and retested. So this retest is probably telling me that, you know what, it'll probably come back here and break, or it will retest. And now you can do an entry here and literally take a couple of pips. This is how many pips? About 200 and 300 pips. So I would put my take profit, maybe one there, and my other take profit, maybe two here, just to be on the safe side. Because these are 300 pips for the taking, okay? So my take profit one, take profit two, because my entry could either be here, or I would wait for it to get here after it has done one or two retests. As it's breaking up, then I would enter for a buy here, all the way here. So this would be about 200 pips. I would just wait. So right now, it's just now dead. The market is kind of dead. I also feel like there's a bit of exhaustion, because this candle here also tells me there's a bit of exhaustion. Why? This candle was pretty strong, and then the next candle next to it, okay, tried to continue with the strong impulse. Okay, guys, this is a very strong impulse. Failed entirely and closed with a rejection, a major rejection. So it's kind of telling me that maybe the momentum up is also changing. We can see a different candle here. For those who understand candlesticks, this is a what? This is a doji. So this sometimes also signifies change in direction. So it stopped the momentum up, came down, is now consolidating. So I would wait for this trade to make its mind up about what it's doing. I wouldn't enter now. I hope I've answered your question, Zachary. But good entries for gold would probably be, if it's a buy, what, 1954.484. If it's a sell, a good entry would be 1939. So this area, unless you really, really want to trade it, you don't have to, you can wait. again, this is as an intraday trader. As a scalper, different strategy for analyzing that. I won't jump into that because I rarely scalp gold. Awesome. Awesome, Zach. Thank you. I'm glad you understood. So yeah, you can see there's a bit of rejection, but we wait and see. So the thing about trading, guys, is just wait and see. Wait and see. You'd rather wait and miss a trade than just jump into a trade. It happens to me, it happens to the best of us. And that's why, as Juliet says, sometimes it's good to wait for the retest to just, Now, some things about candlesticks, which are key, like the wicks also tell you there's a rejection. Like now here, price came here, rejected, went up. Price came here, rejected, came down. Price came here, rejected, consolidated, before now it found some, So anytime price now has come here, and this is just a different strategy of trading, which maybe you can cover in a different session. Price came here, every time it comes here, you can assume safely, whatever happens, it will come back here again. It will retest. This week here, this strong rejection will be retested. And you can see it happened here. This strong rejection will be retested, and you can see it happened again. This one will also be tested at some point, whether now or in the future, next week, next month, it's a point of interest. Sawa sawa? And you can see rejection here as well. Yeah. So I think we are good. We're good. Any last questions? Going once, going twice? No questions. Thank you, guys. We are done for the evening. See you again next week. Thank you so much for being on the call. This session has been recorded, so in case you need a recording, I will drop it in a few minutes. But thank you once again, and do have a lovely, lovely evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lian.
Thank you.